Hi everybody, I'm John. I want to welcome you to my first video. I have been following professional sports from a sports betting perspective for over 30 years. That's 30, not 13. So I actually have more experience covering the forensic side of sports betting. More years of that than many of you have been alive. So I've kind of always been in the shadows because a lot of my commentary, perspective, picks, and analysis could be considered controversial. We can just leave it at that. However, what I think, say, and feel are very time tested is really kind of part of more of a formula that a lot of these bookmakers and casinos follow with which to post, betting odds and point spreads on major sports games. So there are many, many terms that I will use that are new, in fact, possibly even new to the people that run this game. Terms like handle, which is basically the amount of money that is wagered on any one game. It's actually more of a horse racing term than anything else. But this is going to be a long-term play for me. It's been a long time that I've wanted to do something official because this is really kind of who I am, and it's something that I would like to be able to share with people. It's very important to me, and sports betting is something that is so taboo to the point that most people are just lifetime losers at it. And just because they love sports, that shouldn't be a reason that they're donating to a system that simply doesn't work for them other than for entertainment purposes. I know lots of households that have suffered because of betting and gambling, things as such. But where it comes to sports betting, there's some things that you'll hear from me that you just simply won't find anywhere else on the internet, maybe even in the world, even though I'm certainly no one special and there are other people like me. It's just that most of them just simply either are on the take or they don't say anything. But my analysis isn't based on predicting quote unquote fixes or anything, just really a system and what point spreads mean, given the real life factors that go into any matchup. Better psychology and many things are taken into account by these odds makers when they make their lines before the quote unquote big game. Now, to start off, we actually already have had our first NFL game of the year, and this was the annual Hall of Fame game. And it's so funny because it came and went without me even really thinking too much about it. I heard about it just the day of, and that was really interesting to me. So applying the word handle to this game, it was the only game that could be bet. And yes, you could have bet the game. There was a point spread on the game, which I'll mention in a second. But first, the two teams involved. You had the Chicago Bears and the Houston Texans. Now, I'm going to ask you right off the bat, who do you think would win? The Texans, the upstart team with the super quarterback in C.J. Stroud, who took the world by storm and advanced in the playoffs last year. They really shocked the world, and they were really kind of a Cinderella and a darling. And yes, they're going to continue to be that this year as well. They even pried Joe Mixon, the running back, away from the Cincinnati Bengals. And so this is a team with a good defense and probably the best young wide receiving core in the NFL that's just recently been boosted with the acquisition of the stud Stephon Diggs, who was playing in Buffalo. So this is a receiving core and a quarterback, an offense, a scheme that is just, built to air it out and score tons of points. And this is all against the Chicago Bears, who have kind of had a bit of a carousel, not just at their quarterback position, but also their running back position. And all things considered, in terms of defense, special teams, I guess they're okay. But the reality is if they're playing at a neutral site, what would you imagine the point spread on this game would be? Well, it's preseason, so probably not even the home field advantage, which doesn't exist. So you would think it would be, okay, maybe pretty close to a pick'em, but with Houston maybe favored by a couple points, maybe 2 to 3 points. Well, it wasn't that, and it was a small spread. It was 1.5 points, but the Bears were favored. So the whole idea behind forensic sports betting is finding out where the money's going, where the bettors putting their cash. There are games every week where, let's just say, the odds makers know more than you do. You know, they might know that someone's got a fever, or maybe it's a birthday that day. Who knows? There's just so many different factors that go into putting a line together. And the bottom line is they simply know more than we do on any given day, on any given Sunday. But on this game, it's the only game bet in the NFL in the entire world. So preseason or not, there's people that are in Vegas or just bored. It's on TV. They're betting the game. So whenever you could see 80 to 90% of the money going on one side and not the other, that's when you got to jump on the other side. It's just as simple as that. And it's something that shows that, you know, the people, no less than the people putting together these lines, whether it be information, you know, health reasons, people not playing, things as such. And what's interesting is the people not playing in this game were all the good players, you know, anyone that you would think would make a difference. And this Chicago team, all their best players are brand new. They've never even played on the team, not even a snap, even though they weren't going to play anyway. You know, the Keenan Allens of the world, their former Heisman quarterback and Caleb Williams, DJ Moore. I don't think any of these guys are playing. So the interesting thing is that they were 1.5 point favorites. So if you kind of look into things, you would see most of the money going on Houston in that game. So that would tell me that perhaps Chicago's the pick here. Lo and behold, Chicago won the game 21-17. Now, did the game matter in the grand scope of things? Nope, but they got your money. And so that's why I'm here. And that's why I'm creating this channel. And so this is the very first video I've done. You know, gosh, I haven't even showered yet today. But I'll be a little bit more professional in the rest of these things going forward, I would hope. But this is something that I plan on doing for the long haul. You know, even Major League Baseball, they're kind of getting into this. You know, the umpires are squeezing the plates on certain days. There's certain pitchers that are getting calls versus other ones. You'll have marquee matchups with Cy Young hopefuls, you know, with over-under lines that are a little bit higher than they probably should, that I don't know how, but they consistently seem to go over when the bettors are all taking them going under. So there's a lot of things out there. There's a lot that go into things, and no conspiracy theories or anything, just simple math tracked over years and years and years. I could tell you point spreads from games over 20 years ago. All of the stuff kind of plays in, and there's simple mathematical formulas that these odds makers use, and there's certain meanings that these point spreads will have. And so we will go over these over the course of the year, and because there will be live scenarios of each one that play off. Obviously, it's not an exact pure science, because not every game, you know, has so many different moving parts to where it's going to just make people say, oh yeah, this is great. But, you know, think about it. How many times did you bet a game where you said, oh, this is a lock, this is great, I'm going to bet it, or I'm going to put it on this parlay, or I'm going to put it on every parlay, and the money gone? So that's something I aim to help you with. And so this is your best chance. You know, go ahead and subscribe. You'll want to share this, because, you know, I might maybe even not now, but later, there'll be some credibility that comes because, you know, anyone really close to me gets it. And the reality is you should too. Otherwise, you're just simply donating. You're not even betting. You have a better chance of just putting it all in black or red, or even the new third green number on a roulette wheel. Good grief. The house is taking your money any way they possibly can. And you know what? We don't like that. We want to help you. We want you to enjoy the game. We want you to enjoy the entertainment aspect of it, perhaps even make a few dollars in the process. So again, I'm John. I look forward to seeing you guys, getting to know you. And by the end of the playoffs, I plan to have 1 million subscribers. So hopefully you're one of them. Have a great day.